Let's get right to it. Kevin James as Doug Heffernan. Kevin James landing the lead role happened entirely because of a guest spot. James was a close friend of Ray Romano, and Romano gave him a guest role on Everybody Loves Raymond, which caught the attention of CBS executives. A spin off was built around him almost immediately, and the sitcom was born. That's such a different kind of story, honestly. Landing a lead role because of a guest appearance is a pretty incredible path. James had actually studied sports management and played football and wrestling in high school. But starting in 1989, he moved into stand up, and the offers that followed eventually led to a 2006 Emmy nomination for The King of Queens. In his personal life, from what I found, he met a Filipino model on a blind date in 2001 and they married in 2004. They have 4 kids together. Kevin James is currently 61 years old. A marriage that started with a blind date is honestly a pretty compelling headline. Leah Remini as Carrie Heffernan. She was one of 2 actors who appeared in all 207 episodes alongside Kevin James. She once said, "By the time I signed on as Carrie Heffernan, I had been to hundreds of auditions and was cast in many pilots and some short lived series." Remini's story isn't really about herself, it's more about what she witnessed. The biggest part of it in 2013, she left the Church of Scientology, and in 2015, she published a memoir called Troublemaker Surviving Hollywood and Scientology, which shot to the top of the New York Times bestseller list. Both her acting career and her writing career genuinely peaked at that point. In one interview, she described witnessing Tom Cruise forcibly kiss his then wife Katie Holmes and stepping in to say something. She said, "I was written up in the church for that." Holmes later released a statement saying she regretted upsetting Leah in the past. But after leaving the church, she kept speaking out, especially against names still in the church like Tom Cruise and Danny Masterson. That takes real fearlessness. She met Angelo Pagan in 1996, married him in 2003, and their daughter Sofia Bella was born in 2004. She's currently 56 and still actively working on projects. Jerry Stiller as Arthur Spooner. I think Stiller found a huge career revival playing Frank Costanza on Seinfeld, and that role earned him an Emmy nomination. After Seinfeld ended, he started playing Arthur Spooner on The King of Queens. Between the roles he took on, he became a genuinely iconic character actor. And I think he wasn't just an example through his career, but through his marriage and family too. Dedicating 62 years of his life to his wife is something that's hard to forget. 62 years is honestly wild to say out loud. He married Anne Meara in 1954, and they stayed together for over 60 years until her death in 2015. His son Ben Stiller announced his passing, saying he was a great dad and grandfather and the most dedicated husband to Anne for about 62 years. He died in 2020 at 92 from natural causes. Victor Williams as Deacon Palmer. I think he has the calmest profile on this list, with basically no scandal attached to his name. He earned his master's degree in acting from NYU's graduate acting program, so behind the scenes he had a serious academic foundation as well. After the show ended, he took on roles in The Affair, Sneaky Pete, and People of Earth, and joined the main cast of Happy Together in 2018. I think not every actor gets to move into that many diverse dramatic projects after coming off a sitcom. In 2021, he landed the role of Special Agent Moses Reed on FBI, Most Wanted, so he's still actively working on screen today. He's married to his wife Zia Williams and they have one child together. He's 55 now. I genuinely couldn't find any confirmed scandal tied to his name, which makes him one of the cleanest profiles on this list. Patton Oswalt as Spence Olchin. I think this is the most emotional story on this entire list. In 2005, he married true crime writer Michelle McNamara. McNamara was a well known true crime author investigating the Golden State Killer case, and while writing her book I'll Be Gone in the Dark, she passed away suddenly in her sleep in 2016 at 46. The cause of death was later revealed to be an undiagnosed heart condition combined with Adderall, Xanax, and fentanyl. Oswald finished his wife's unfinished book with the help of a researcher, and it went on to hit #1 on the New York Times bestseller list. I think completing your spouse's unfinished work like that is a pretty profound act of love. When the real killer, a former police officer, was caught in 2018, he was one of the first to announce it. 18 months later, in 2017, he remarried actress Meredith Salinger. Salinger reached out on Facebook in February 2017, and they messaged every night for 3 months. I think finding love again after a loss that painful takes just as much courage as living through the loss itself. Gary Valentine as Danny Heffernan. He's Kevin James's older brother. His real name is Gary Joseph Nipfink. I think he's one of the rare names on this list who carved out his own path instead of staying in his brother's shadow. He moved to Los Angeles after a performance at the Montreal Comedy Festival and went on to appear on Conan O'Brien and Jay Leno's shows. He worked alongside Matt Damon and Greg Kinnear in Stuck on You and with Adam Sandler in I Now Pronounce You, Chuck and Larry. I think it's rare for a family bond to translate this naturally, both on screen and in real life, which is probably why the Danny Heffernan character felt so believable. He never stepped away from stand up, either he's still performing in comedy clubs today. Nicole Sullivan as Holly Shumpert. She spent 6 seasons on MD where her most popular character was the Vancombe Lady. She voiced the villain Shego on Disney's Kim Possible and did recurring voice work on Family Guy. I think being this successful in both live sketch comedy and voice acting is a genuinely rare skill set. In 2006, she married her King of Queens co star Jason Packham, and they had 2 sons in 2007 and 2009. There's a notable health detail here too. In 2010, she caught H1N1, which put her in the ICU for 18 days with a 105.8-degree fever, a dry cough, and double bilateral sepsis pneumonia. I think surviving something like that is honestly incredible on its own. She's 55 now.